Good day, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and foe. Good day, good day. This is AJ here at Ketron, USA. And today we're going to be talking about the new kid of the block, the smallest, but one of the most powerful kids of the block today, which is the Ketron Lounge, which I have before me. We're going to break this up into different segments because this is a very powerful tool and it can be used by those who are looking for a drum machine, if you're looking for a sound module, if you're looking for a method to be able to reproduce your multimedia files or your karaoke or MIDI or what have you. The Ketron Lounge is capable of satisfying those needs. But not only that, it also has a couple of other tricks up its sleeve, and we're going to be discussing that as well. So to make this presentation easy, we're going to break this down into two main groups, Section 1 and Section 2. In Section 1 of this video, I'm going to be discussing what I believe are the standalone features that the Lounge offers to you as a musician and an artist. So as a musician, what can you do with the machine by itself, such as the background, the backing tracks, okay, multimedia playback capabilities, and what are the tricks that are in this machine that can enhance the playback features of the machine, okay? And in section number 2, we'll talk about using this machine with a MIDI controller, be that a keyboard or an accordion or a MIDI guitar. So without much ado, let's address section 1. And we're going to talk about the MIDI features of the new and exciting Ketron Lounge. So as you can see, it's a very small unit, nice and compact, but let's dive in and see exactly what this machine can do. So the first thing I want to talk about today is going to be live mixing of MIDI files. Now, for most of you out there who are using MIDI file playback machines, you realize that very few are capable of giving you this particular feature I'm about to discuss, being able to mix and being able to adjust the MIDI file while it is playing, right? There's some stuff you can do at home to pre-adjust or preset the MIDI file, but sometimes when you're on the stage, you also want to be able to do some minor adjustments, and that's what we're going to discuss here in this first section of this video. So if we go over here, let me start off with an example, okay? Let's go in, and I'm going to go into my AjamSonic MIDI file folder. Now, those of you who have the AjamSonic version, you know it comes loaded or preloaded with tons and tons of MIDI files, registrations, backing track files, and even videos as well, right? So I'm going to turn the wheel now, and I'm going to go down to this Elton John Volume 1. Let's see what we have there, okay? And you see all these songs by Elton John. I'm going to pick one here just to help us with this demonstration. I'm going to pick Sacrifice, okay? Now, what you're about to hear is just a plain MIDI file, okay? Of course, we've organized these MIDI files to take advantage of the different sounds and the way the sounds are balanced within the instrument itself. But let's listen to this Sacrifice, okay, by itself. What you're listening to over there is just MIDI file, okay? And you can see, of course, you also have the capability to display the lyrics of the song as well. Now, what if I wanted to mix this? Now, just so you know, the buttons on the bottom, whenever you're playing, when you're in the player mode and you're actually playing a song or playing something, these buttons over here are dedicated by this function on the bottom in white, okay? So if I want to get in right now to my mixer, my general MIDI, okay, I'm going to press the GM button there, and that takes me immediately into this screen. Now, this screen is actually showing me the different files that are playing, the different tracks of the MIDI file that are playing, okay? So, if you see in red on the bottom of each of these, you actually notice that, for example, in the first box over here, you have a piano. The second one, you have a bass guitar, okay? And the third one is a regular guitar, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, you have a standard drum set. what does that mean? Now watch this. I can, using the knobs here, control the drum. Okay, that's the volume of the drum right there. Or if I want to control the bass, go here. Okay, so this is me making adjustments again with the physical knobs live. But what if I want to go in a little bit deeper, right? What if I wanted to, let's say for example, go in and do like say panning, right? Or I want to work with, let's say, effects of the individual tracks. Mind you, the song is still playing in the background. I'm going to turn it down a little bit so you can hear me better, right? So the song is still playing, but I want to be able to make the adjustments in real time. So let's talk about that. So back again to my screen, all right? If I go here where it says GM Mixer, I can tap on GM Mixer. And now it tells me exactly what's going on each of the 16 tracks of the MIDI file. So I can have volume highlighted, which means that whatever I'm doing here is going to impact the volume of the 16 tracks. Or I can have the reverb highlighted. Whatever I do is going to impact the reverb. So let's go back to volume, okay? And I go back to that bass. I'm going to touch the bass. Again, I can now just turn this wheel and increase just the volume of the bass. You see it's in red, right? Or I can bring it down. And the view meter tells you or shows you what the level is, so you're not clicking all over the place, okay? That's one example right there. Let's say I want to bring up the drums, all right? That's track number 10, right? I can just simply touch on number 10, like that, and you see it has a red circle, so it's selected. So whatever I'm doing right now is going to impact track 10. Let me make life more interesting, okay? I'm going to go back in here, I'm going to exit to show you something. Watch this. If I want to do more on a particular track, let's say I want to change the drum kit, I can touch and hold that for 2 seconds. Now, whatever I'm doing here is impacting just that particular track. So I want to change this from a standard kit. I want to go in, for example, and go to a live kit. Here's the difference. The MIDI file is still playing, huh? The MIDI file is still playing. That's the surprising thing right here. I'm going right now, I have a live drum kit. I have a live kit that I've changed on that MIDI file. I can pick a live brush kit. Live kit number 2. All this happening while the file is still playing. Okay? So I can right here even adjust, for example, the pan. I can go and say, listen, I want to pan the kit to the left or to the right. I can do all the stuff I want to do here. And guess what? As soon as I'm done, all I gotta do is press the save button, and I can then save this for the next time when I recall that MIDI file. It's going to recall that file with those particular settings. So I don't have to keep on doing this over and over again. So that's just one section for, live mixing. When you have a MIDI file, how do you mix it up and change some things, parameters, and work with it so that you can actually tune it to your satisfaction? That's a big thing. Now, we spoke about drums, okay? Another function I'm going to discuss now real quick is going to be being able to synchronize a MIDI file with other elements, in particular with live drums, okay? With live drums. So let's talk about that now for a real second. MIDI file drum remix. What exactly is that? When the MIDI files were first created, the whole idea was to be able to give users like yourselves the capability to be able to control the instruments better, to change the volume, to change the tempo, maybe even change the note and what have you. So MIDI gives you so much power of control. But in exchange for that, you lose authenticity because you're forced to deal with the internal sound engine of whatever you have. It doesn't matter what MIDI file player you have. The trumpets, the guitars, the bass, you only sound as good as those instruments that are within that particular module. And in terms of MIDI files, drum and bass were the weakest link, okay? So we at Ketron decided to give you a capability. How do you enhance the drum and bass of a MIDI file? That's what we're about to discuss right now. Let's use the same example again, Sacrifice. I'm going to play it. I did. Now, what I'm going to do in this case, I'm going to be able to do something here that's going to make you smile, right? So let's do the drum remix. That's the original drum track of the MIDI file. Now I'm going to enhance it with the drum mix by doing this. happens is I'm now exposed to the different live drums of the module of the lounge in categories. You got beat, dance, swing, jazz, and pop. And for each of those categories, you have the different live drums here. I can select one of them. Okay. For the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to go into beat, for example, or dance rather. And I'm going to go to page 2. I'm going to look for one. Let me go into Latin, for example. And let me go into Bolero right here. So you can see that you just took the song Sacrifice and you added a Latin feel to it. Okay? Let me try another one. Let me try and go into beat. I'm going to go into something here called Latin Lounge. Listen to this again. Now this is a nice one. Why do I say that? Because this is a mixture of what it was before and that Tambora Latin feel. Okay? How does that sound to you? This is Sacrifice. It's a Midifile. I just enhanced it with the live drum. But let's go a step further. I can control different elements of that live drum. So now that I'm in the drum section of this machine, I'm going to be referring to these top blue labels over here on this button. Okay? That's variation A. If I press B, I'm going to be in variation B. Listen. It's a MIDI file, not a style. MIDI file. I'm enhancing it now with the live drums. Watch this. Drum fill, variation C. This is the beauty of music. It's the power of the Ketron Lounge. A small device like this that makes you sound big. That's really what it is. Here we go. Fill, arrange your D, variation D. So the variation A, B, C, and D are of the live drum. Fill. And you got 4 fills. So if I'm, depending on where you are at in this, if I'm in A and I hit the fill, it's going to be fill 1. If I'm in B, the fill is fill 2, and so on and so forth. Same for the break. There are 4 fills, 4 breaks in this way. Watch this song right now. Break. That was a little too much, but you get the point, right? Being able to mix and arrange in real time. Now, what's also amazing about this instrument is that if I attempt to change the tempo of this, while the tempo is changing for the MIDI file, likewise for the audio drum. Hear that? So even if I slow this down, if I'm playing for the older folks, right? Nursing home, for example. Or if I'm playing for the younger kids at the graduation party, I want to speed up a little bit. I control the music. And that's the one thing that was missing before. Because, again, like I said, MIDI files, yes, you have great MIDI files, great functionality, but you lost authenticity in the sound. Now we brought back the drum. Oh, and I forgot to talk about the bass, right? But all this is going on, get out of here, go back into my GM mode, and of course I'm going to go back in. Before I do that, somebody's going to ask a question right now. You can see that already. What if I want to go back to the original MIDI file drum? Because maybe there's some parts of the song that require you to maybe at a particular feel. This is simple. Turn off the drum machine, turn off the live drum, and you're back to the MIDI file. This is the drum from the MIDI file. Oh, by the way, I want to go back to that live drum again. Simple as that. Now, some people may say that's a lot of button pushing. Oh well, let me just complete this part right here. Save the song. So in other words, everything I just did right now, the machine was keeping track of it. And I can now save this. If I hit save and save the song, I can actually save the song as another song. Okay, so it's Sacrifice. I don't want to, overwrite the original Sacrifice that was there. So I might call this Sacrifice Mixed. Okay, so now I'm going to have 2 MIDI files in there. I'm going to have the regular Sacrifice and I'm going to have the sacrifice mixed. So if I go back into my folder as Elton John, I scroll down to the bottom, there we go. That's the original MIDI file, untouched, okay, that we were playing with. And on the bottom of that right there, we have the one that says sacrifice mix. If I touch that, it's going to play without me having to do anything. It's going to remember what I did, what I pressed. It's going to remember that and do it for me, right? That's the whole idea. So now I can instantly create backing tracks right on this machine. And to be honest with you, this sounds, in my opinion, better than some of the backing tracks that are out there for this particular song, right? So that's a very powerful feature right there. Now,